Hey everybody, it's Chad, nobody else is on. It is 7:30 Sunday evening, time for some live chat. We've got a great crew on already. Holy cow, who's all here, ready to go? Neil's here, Glenn, Pete, Buick Man, Kevin L. John's with us. Jim Petty, Alex Kalish, glad you guys all made it back. We are going to try to jump on Facebook again tonight. We'll see what happens. So if we've got Facebook viewers who are getting on, I did change some settings. No idea if it's going to work or not because this thing has not been working very well. But I did play with the Facebook settings. So I did go ahead and set it up. We'll see if it works for the people that like to hang out over on Facebook. So anyway, glad you guys are all here and ready to go tonight. We've got a fun evening planned. As always, I try to have a fun evening planned at least. I hope you guys have a good time. Lots of things been going on. Got to see several of you this week, as a matter of fact. There's Austin. And lots of things happening. As always, before we get too deep in anything, throw a share out there. Let your friends know that we are on live and ready to go if they want to join us. Autocorrect, please double check your comments before you hit send in case autocorrect changed it to something I can't understand. Trolls, we do occasionally get trolls. We've got some moderators on here to help out with that. But regardless, you guys make sure that they all know they are not welcome on here. Super chats are great. We are also dealing with ads, unfortunately. Facebook or YouTube is hammering us with ads, and there isn't a lot we can do about it. So all we can do is work with it and work around it best they can. If Facebook is working and you're on the Nobody Show page, I cannot see those comments. This is a shared video from the Nobody Else's Auto page. You will need to be on that Facebook page or the Nobody Show YouTube channel if you want to comment, participate in the auctions, etc. If you just want to hang out there and watch, you're perfectly fine. So, all right, let's see. David W. made it. Mark's here. Scott's on. Kevin Brown. Big job. Tractor Mike. Kenny Peterson. Glad you guys keep coming back and making this what it is. So, if you guys are on Facebook, we're showing a few viewers over there. Let me know if we've got sound. Okay, Joe said it is working. So, like I said, I went in and played with some settings on Facebook. Maybe I got the right one. Who knows? I didn't change it to start with. So, I apparently had to go in and reset something I never changed. So, apparently something reset in Facebook, and I had to go back in and change something I never changed. But apparently we got it. So, Charles is here. Charles Wickham. And like I said, lots of stuff going on this week. And to begin with, like I said, got to see actually several of you guys this week, which is always cool. Went and saw Glenn the other day. Picked up a car I had sitting at his place. Bill Disk is here. So got to chat with Glenn for a little bit. Took him his auction wins. So he was able to redecorate his office a little bit more with some more cool wins. Plus, he had some stuff he had bought from friends that he was giving away as well. Kevin Brown came through this week, which was great to see. Kevin, he brought a buddy of his with him that he's trying to recruit to be a nobody. So I guess that's great. That's awesome. You guys are trying to recruit your buddies to be part of what we're doing here. Which the great thing about that, is the fact that you guys appreciate enough of what we do here that you want your friends involved, which is pretty cool. Tony's here. What is the address? Which address do you need, Mark? So, like I said, Kevin came in. We actually got to hang out a little bit that evening, went out and had a few beers, got to chit-chat a bit, and he got all his auction stuff. And then he got to bring his buddy out to the yard, and we showed him around out there a bit. John Sanderson's here. And Kevin stopped at Pioneer Village. If you are on the Nobody's Facebook page, he posted a few pictures. Kevin stopped at Pioneer Village, took his buddy there as well. Mike from Texas is here. Yeah, we'll get to the promos here in just a minute, John. So anyway, Kevin, what did you think of Pioneer Village? You said you thought you'd been there as a kid, but you didn't really have a lot of recollection of it. So, for the raffle, mailing address is 522 Morton. After we get done, if you click on the video and look at the text part of the video, that information is in there. 522 Morton in Great Bend is the mailing address. The PayPal address is in there as well, but it is in the text part of this video if you go back in and click on it later. So anyway, Kevin said they only had 2 hours, but he will definitely be back. So, well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope that what I told you about it was true and you guys were in agreement about how cool it was. Alan's here with us. Brian made it. So it was great to see Kevin and his buddy. Alex also came through this week. Alex Kalish, he stopped through and picked up his stuff. Dad's here with us. So got to chat with Alex for a bit. Never found the Ford and the Cadillac. Well, when you bought your ticket, Kevin, if you'd have walked straight west to the end of the building, that's where they are. They're literally 50 yards from where you bought your ticket. So you must have just missed them. Scott's with us on Facebook. Alex back. It's Heather's birthday. Wasn't aware of that. Happy birthday to Heather. I've actually, Bert's made it. Bert's Adventures is back. Scott says, put her picture next to me on the desk. Well, you got to remember, we do have some guest hosts occasionally. You know, Pete's been here, Tractor Mike. So I've actually had to screw her to the wall. I've actually got like drywall screws holding her up there. So, you know, Pete, Tractor Mike, none of those guys can try to walk off with her. Good idea, Mark. We got those right here and ready to go for you. Boom. What do you think of that? Jeff from Ottawa's here. Oh, man. Speaking of guest hosts, if you are on the Nobody's Facebook page, this will make sense. If you're not, you need to be, and then this would make sense. But Janet is not going to be here tonight, unfortunately. If you don't get that, you need to look at what Big Job posted. I think Big Job posted it, where they were going to replace Ed McMahon. It was a pretty funny video. You ought to check it out. But Scott said we all have good taste. Yeah, because they're trying to steal the other picture. So anyway, if you didn't catch that video, like I said, I think Big Job posted it based on the funky emoji he just posted. I'm sure it was him. That unfortunately Janet will not be joining us tonight. So we'll see if Big Job can find her and get her hired. But I mean, I love Tractor Mike and Pete and everybody else that's hung out with us. But I mean, if Janet's going to come in and co-host, I'm sorry, guys. I mean, she's going to take that spot. So I have not, Mark. That would be cool to see, but I have not seen it. David's here with us. Dennis Chapman made it. Yeah, a few ads starting to pop up. Pete even says he understands. So, but anyway, if you guys are not on that Facebook page, be sure to get on there. Rusty Okie and Whiskey Business run that for us. I don't have anything to do with it, but go in, answer the questions. They will let you in. And everybody wants to hire Janet, apparently. But anyway, it was hilarious. So well worth checking out. Boom! Look at that. Didn't even see that coming, did you? Didn't think so. Anyway, let's see. That's a good point, actually, Pete. You do bring up a good point. She did leave with Ed. So Michael Gagolo's here with us. So you guys that are jumping on Facebook, I mentioned earlier, I went in and changed some settings I had never changed anyway. So apparently something reset or defaulted in Facebook, and I went in and changed some settings. Like I said, I didn't change the settings a month ago or whenever it started going haywire. So something on Facebook must have reset. I must have found the right button this time to get sound turned back on. So apparently you guys are good over there. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. John said his wife's out of town, so he's bidding hard tonight. Well, let's just keep this party rolling then. There's Zach with Whiskey Business. What else is going on? F&E Collector Auto Auction coming up 3 weeks already. Holy cow. I got some more cars up this week. I've got more cars to list this coming week. So be sure to stay tuned to the website, feclassiccarauction.com. And would love to see some of you guys here. If it looks like something you're going to try to make, be sure to let me know. And so I'm obviously pretty busy that weekend, but it would be great to see some of you guys if you can make it out and hang out. So, and then, of course, what else was going on this week? That golf cart is pretty neat, Brian. I didn't list that. My partner did, so I don't know anything about it. But it is super cool. It really is. So, Alex said it was fun on YouTube for a few weeks. So, well, you're welcome either place, Alex. Whatever works for you guys. Yeah, Chris, I just looked at it this afternoon, though. I don't get out there every day. I just looked at it this afternoon. So I've got it. It's got a few dents in it. I'll call you about it tomorrow. Obviously, I was at that auction yesterday, so I was out at the yard for a while today. I was swamped today. I did get it checked, but I had a guy pick up a car today. I had another guy out here looking at parts today, so my day's been kind of bananas. So when you called back again yesterday, I was at that auction, so I couldn't answer. Sounds good, Buick, man. That's another great thing. A lot of you guys are posting to that page, to the No Buddies page, with what you've got going on, swap meets, car shows. And that's cool, too, seeing what you guys all have going. Of course, the Janet video wasn't all bad either, but it is fun seeing what you guys are out doing and building that community from that direction. So, Meekum Dallas was this weekend. I have not talked to Jim Wicks. He was there, but I have not talked to Jim Wicks in person for a boots on the ground report. Looking at a lot of the numbers, it still seemed fairly strong. You know, we keep thinking that the bottom's going to fall out of this thing. I thought it looked okay from what I saw, still hanging in there numbers wise. So be curious to see how the rest of the year shakes out, especially with the election coming up, what things are going to be like at the end of the year. But like I said, I'll probably talk to Wicks this week. I'll have a little bit better idea of what happened in Dallas this weekend. But just glancing at the numbers, everything seemed to be hanging in there price-wise. Martin made it. And then, of course, you bet, David, no problem. Adam's back. Yep. Like I told everybody, Adam, I went in and changed some settings that I never changed before, and we apparently have sound back. So apparently Facebook reset something to a default, and I had to go in and change it. But apparently we got the right button clicked this time. So I thought it was hilarious. Big job. I thought that was great. And that's what's been so fun about the No Buddies page is we can do that. It just adds more to the community that we're building here with all of us. So huge shout out to Whiskey Business and Rusty Oakey for putting that page together and managing it for us. Handling the questions, making sure we keep the bots out, and getting it really into something that is workable and has been a lot of fun. So Hudson Badge. Now, one more thing I want to catch before we move on to new inventory and badges and caps, et cetera, was a lot of you guys did see the short I threw up last night. Went to an auction yesterday with a bunch of Chevrolet promos. I think there was 80 or 100. I just did a quick count. but a pretty good, pretty good batch of them. There's Scott, Rebel Driver. Hey, Scott, did you do the Pioneer Village car show? I was going to ask you that last week if you got on. I was actually going to call you and never did. Curious if you did the Pioneer Village car show. Was it last weekend? They called me that Friday, and I was like, there's no way I can get up there. But I was hoping you were going to be there for them. Okay, perfect. Did you get content, or you have some stuff you're going to post from that show, Scott? I think everybody loved it. Big job. Okay, Scott took pics but didn't shoot video, so okay. Cracked the door hinge on his Centurion. Well, that's a big, heavy door, so I guess I could see that happening. There's Pappy. Mary made it. But the promo auction. Dad and I went to that yesterday. The people that had all those promos were actually, it used to be a Chevy dealer. They had a small Chevy dealership in Osborne, Kansas. And those promos, they had just took whatever they wanted home, whatever the one they liked, and put it on their shelves in their house. They've never been played with. They've never been beat on. There were no boxes, but condition on most of them were pretty good. There were a few of them that had some chips and things like that. But for the most part, condition on these were really nice. Some of the 50 stuff had some warp just because it's 50 stuff, but it was minimal compared to a lot of them. Yeah, sure, not a problem, Scott. Probably tomorrow would be best. I'll be gone into the week. So whenever you get a second, Scott, but probably tomorrow would be best. But anyway, I know you're all wondering, did we buy any? Of course we bought some. You know we bought some. We ended up with 31 of the promos. So obviously we've got a lot of cool stuff to check out. Now, the last 6 were just kind of the last batch that they cleaned up. So those, they're still cool. I kind of like them, but they weren't like really killer high dollar ones. There's another guy that bought a bunch of them who's a dealer, and I deal with him quite a bit. I could actually see possibly ending up with a few more by doing some trading and stuff with him down the road. But obviously with this building deal, getting ready to close, I had to kind of watch what I spent since obviously need to be careful trying to get this new shop building that I bought covered till I get that rented. I had to watch what I spent. So, but we did bring, we got 25 that are good to killer. Some of them I'm actually going to call killer. So we got some cool promos to check out. I think you guys are really going to like them. Like I said, it's all Chevy stuff. But, we got a pretty good mix. Some big cars, Chevelles. Didn't buy many Corvettes. I think I got one Corvette. But some killer big cars, some station wagons. It's some pretty cool stuff going to be coming up on the promo section for the next several weeks. So definitely excited about that because these things are beautiful. And, yes, we do have one ready for tonight. So that's kind of a quick rundown on what I did this week, and it was great. Obviously, getting to see some of you guys in person, getting to hang out a little bit, catch up. Plus, you guys got all your auction boxes, which is cool. So, yeah, we got some great promos. I'm excited about them. But I did pick up a couple of cars. As I mentioned, I went up and saw our good friend Glenn in Salina. Had to go to Salina to list some auction cars, so I did that. Went and saw Glenn, took his auction box, loaded up one of the cars that I had sitting there. And when I bought this car, Glenn sat it back. It was fairly stripped, no motor, no tranny. Part of the front end was gone. But he sat it off the side because it was a two-door. And he said, I want to let you look at this before we smash it. Auburn badge. And I went, when we were up there, I looked at it. I was like, well, it was kind of mediocre. The nice thing about it was since it did not have a motor or transmission in it, it was much lighter. So it wasn't as expensive for me to buy it because based on what they would have gotten out of it crushing it. But after I got it back, I looked at it a little bit closer and I saw it. And I don't think this is a big deal, but it was kind of an interesting option package. I'll do a little more research on it before we do the video on it so we can learn a little bit more about it. It's a 1977 Oldsmobile Omega SX. Now, the Omega, the same body style as the Nova. So it's the 75 to 79 Disco Nova body. Literally looks like a Nova with the exception of the emblem say Oldsmobile. Austin's got a ton of ads. It feels like big job. The Wizard video. I got to get to work on that. I actually did drag a little bit of the junk out of it the other day. So I do need to get that done. And there's JP. It is definitely on the agenda. It will probably be a few more weeks yet because this week is already torpedoed. But I did start cleaning the back of the Wizard out. So you guys will hopefully be able to experience that magnificence within the next couple of weeks. So anyway, we've got the Omega, and I also picked up a car I bought a few months back, a 1939 Ford sedan. It is a regular four-door, partially disassembled, but there are a ton of parts in it. So we need to get that kind of sorted through and see what I've got there. The 70 Kingswood, no, have not done that. I actually was going to do that the other day, and like I told you that cars got tilt column, cruise, stuff like that. I can't get the driver's door open. The driver's door is completely stuck. So, and obviously, I want to show you guys that stuff inside, and I can't get the driver's door open. So I monkeyed with it, shook it. I sprayed WD-40 in every crevice I could find on it the other day, hoping to get that driver's door open so I can show some of that stuff to you guys. And I ain't got that far yet, but we're working on it. So that is still in process. But it is definitely one I need to get done because you guys are going to love it. And, like we've talked about, that car is a big block. So it's pretty cool. It's going to be exciting with a ton of options. Oh, speaking of videos, the 1953 Ford two-door ranch wagon is heading to L.A. It is sold. The one we did the video on Monday night, it is sold. The guy overnighted me a check for it. So he is arranging transport. And the 53 two-door ranch wagon is heading to our new friend Craig in California to be a California cruiser. Open it up and drive it home. Well, this one isn't quite ready to drive home. It would take a little more than just getting the driver's door open. But so, yeah, that was a cool wagon. Yep, it will definitely live on. He wants to put a 6-cylinder back in it and just cruise it. He's an upholstery guy, primarily a Porsche, does Porsche interiors. So he's like, I think I can fix that headliner. He said, I got buddies out here that have mechanic shops. He said, I think we can maybe try to get a 300 back in that thing and just enjoy it. So, which is cool. So, yeah, there are more doors to get into, but I want to be able to open the driver's door because that's where some of those accessories are. So that's kind of my mindset. But I did want to mention that too, that the 53 Ford is sold and is heading to a new home here very soon. So anyway, that catches the new inventory and what's going on. Which brings us up to tonight's promo model. Yes, and it is fresh from yesterday. So you guys already know it's a Chevrolet. Someone's building a 300 Ford with an LS head. That ought to be interesting. We're going to give you a Hudson badge while we're thinking about this. Obviously, it is a Chevrolet. This is one that Dad grabbed, and it caught his eye. Even with all the killer stuff there, he's like, I like that one. That one is cool. And so he snagged it on one of our choices, and I loved it too. I thought this was a great choice, even though the first glance you would think this isn't the coolest one there, but it really is pretty darn cool. It's kind of a tan color. I'm not sure exactly what color it is, but we can see here real quick and see what it shows. Almond beige, I believe, is the color that we're talking about here. Gray Kitty, where you at? I think she's sleeping under the table. Gray Kitty. Yeah, she doesn't want to be bothered. She's in here. So's Chunky Butt. Yeah, and that's kind of what I figured. The Omega SX was a sticker model, but it does have full tack and gauges. So I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, you're right, Michael. That video got a ton of hits. I don't know what happened with it, but it got a ton of hits. That's true, Zach. We'll give her a chance. She'll wake up and come over here and wreck the chat. Lots more ads hitting you guys. Unfortunately, there isn't much we can do about it, but deal with it. They're going to do it. I just said I leave the settings. I can actually change the settings. I just leave it at moderate. I don't know if I can crank it back and see if it makes a difference. I'll try to do that next time. There's no front seat in it, Scott, but it did have a column shift in it. But the front seat is gone. It is a fold-down back seat, but there is no front seat or seats in it at this point. Auburn badge. So who's ready for the promo? Fresh promo directly from the auction yesterday. In this beige, for 1961, the Chevrolet Impala 4-door hardtop. Check this thing out. Dad's like, I want that 4-door hardtop. I was like, I don't blame you. Look at this thing. Look at the condition on this. This doesn't even have the fender ornaments knocked off. They're both still intact. Of course, it has all the original tires and hubcaps. Lots of hearts on this one. Holy cow. It's like a river. It's like posting of hearts. It's like emojis with hearts. It's like a river of hearts. 50 wouldn't even touch it. 50 wouldn't even get close to getting us out of it. So, and it is also, it even still has all 6 taillights in it. So, yeah, this thing is really in amazing shape. And like I said, that's the way most of these promos were. These were in great shape. A few of them did have some chips. They probably fell off the shelf. But for the most part, condition was great on them. So this one, the 4-door hardtops, and then several comments. Allie just commented about the roof line. Other comments about the roof line. I think the late 50s 4-door hardtop, late 50s, early 60s 4-door hardtops, you can't beat them. I think they're great cars. I don't think a 2-door has much on a 4-door hardtop. I know over in Scandinavia, 4-doors are highly sought after because everybody can haul their buddies with them. Brett and Heather are here. Some of those, yep, we got some of those. I gotta go through the boxes, but I know we've got some of those. Zach. Inside, there again, just your basic interior, all done in the beige, but you can see the dash. You can see it even actually has an Impala steering wheel in it. I believe there's a 64 in there. Greg's here with us. And this is also cool. This is going to be kind of tough for you guys to see. Now, these are all going in our collection. I don't know if we could put them up for auction if I get out of them. I mean, there's this, you had to pay up to get these things for definitely. But another interesting feature, yeah, I don't think you guys probably wouldn't be as crazy as we were on these. And this is going to be tough to see, but if you can make out the grill emblem, which I don't think you can, it is rally flags. So this, in theory, would have been a 61 Impala 4-door hardtop. And it also has it on the trunk. If you guys can see it, it has the rally flags on the trunk. So this would have been a 348 powered 61 Impala 4-door hardtop. Now, who remembers the trunk badge? Can you guys see the trunk badge? So, yeah, that's true, Zach. You do bring up a good point. You can see the 348 trunk badge. This is what would have been in there on the 348 powered 61s. So there's a sample of what's to come over the next several weeks in the promos department. But this one's a beauty. Like I said, Dad recognized that. He said, I want that 4-door hardtop. That's a sharp-looking car. So he snagged it. Great piece. Obviously, amazing condition. And I think you guys are going to get a kick out of a lot of these. They're great pieces. Zach's never been so pumped up on promos. So, well, there's a sampling of what's coming. Like I said, there are some common ones. There's, like I said, we bought 31. Oh, 6 or 8 of them are pretty common ones. But that still leaves us with 25 that I think are good to amazing. And I've got some that I'm going to actually put in the amazing category, both on condition and the cars. Frank, no power tonight. I guess we'll have to see. Yeah, we'll catch you next week then. Jason's here with us. And everybody, it sounds like everybody's getting hammered with ads. So anyway, how about some emblems tonight? We'll catch a horn button and a badge tonight. Glad you guys like that promo. And like I said, there's some. I'm happy with what we got. We got some killer stuff. I'm excited, and I think you guys are going to enjoy them as well. But first off, how about back to a horn button? And this is another statement piece of a horn button. Now, Scott said he never sees ads on live videos. We've been fighting them here for a few weeks now. Another one from our friends at Hudson. And, we've looked at some amazing Hudson horn buttons over the past few months. They know where the good content is. Well, I appreciate that, David. I don't know if we're quite that good, but that's, I guess that means something. But, we've looked at some awesome Hudson horn buttons over the past few months, and this is another one that just really is over the top. This thing is almost 5 inches in diameter. It has amazing depth. So let's take a look at this thing. Early 50s era, I'm not sure which one. I couldn't find anything concrete. Just different stuff popped up. And, take a look at this thing. I'll hold it in my hand. Did you see how big it is? Look at this thing. Is this not a statement piece? It takes your whole hand to hold it. You can see the depth in this badge with the red Hudson ornament in the middle of it. This is kind of a curved lens, nice and clear, good kind of tannish gold background with the red Hudson badge in the middle of it. This is plastic. We can see on the back. And we can also see on the back how this is all molded in. Now, one thing that I think is probably what gives them the depth is you can see how the back is curved, and then the front is also curved. So I think that's part of how they gave you the depth into the front of this when you're driving down the road looking at it. Like I said, almost like 4 7/8, almost 5 inches in diameter. It is a plastic center with a metal chrome ring. Joe's digging it too. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It really is. There again, it's just the style, and they wanted you to know that you were driving something special. And when you're staring at that all the time, that does it. Pete's ready to buy this one. Zach's ready to buy this one. This is one that I'm keeping. It is, but yeah, large and in charge. That's one way to put it. It's a pretty one. There's no doubt about it. So that's our first Badger emblem for tonight. It goes with Alex's Hudson pickup hubcap. Kevin L's interested. It's like I said, it's a statement piece. That's for sure. Bold and beautiful. That's a good way to put it. Early 50s throwing sparks. I looked at a couple of different years in there, and I've seen these pop up, but nothing that was definitive. So I don't know if it was 51, 52, somewhere right in that era. Like I said, I found pictures of them with approximate years, but I already knew the approximate years, but I couldn't pinpoint it down. Of course, not that anybody would ever post anything wrong on the internet. Everything you see on the internet, you can believe. So it was early 50s, and it was a cool piece. So I figured you guys would enjoy it. Love seeing the depth, how they did the depth with the curved face on the back and the front to give it the depth like you're staring down into it, like it's suspended. So cool piece. I don't know what the 4 shapes are around there. That Hudson used that stuff, but I don't know what they stand for, and you can't even hardly really tell what they are. So not sure what those shapes are for, Alec. But it is definitely a statement piece. The next piece, another cool one, very unique. 2 are boats and 2 are H's. Okay, let's check. Alex said 2 are boats and 2 are H's. So I'm guessing these are the boats on the bottom, and these are supposed to be H's at the top, is what Alex is saying. Castles, they kind of look like castles, but I think they could be boats. Who knows? This next piece also a very unique 1 year only, 1 car only type piece. From our friends at Oldsmobile. Speaking of Hudson, a friend is a 48 sedan needs a rear door glass. That's flat glass, Scott. I probably just have a new one cut. The only 46 to 48s that I have, I've got one, and it's a coupe, so that wouldn't work anyway. Yeah, I don't know what the horn sounded like. So, but this next one, coming from our friends at Oldsmobile, which means it's got a rocket in it, this 1960 Oldsmobile trunk badge. Now, this actually kind of sat in a recessed area on the trunk lid on a 60. I think it was right on the trunk lid. I don't think it mounted below it. You can see the rocket in the middle of it. This was actually the handle. You can see how it was notched where you could get your fingers underneath there. The chrome obviously looks amazing on this thing. It's not chipped or broken. The studs are still intact. It's a very unique piece. It is. I think it's 60. In fact, I'm sure it's 60 only. It had, you can see a little bit of the red down here where the rocket engine would be, and then white going directly around the rocket itself on this piece. Size-wise, yeah, the Jetfire badges are pretty cool, but this is kind of a statement piece. Size-wise, about 14 and a half inches long. So just over 12 inches, 14 and a half inches long. The rocket center badge is about 3 1/4 in height. So there you have it, the 1960 Oldsmobile trunk emblem. Good looking piece. Story time. Who's ready for some story time? This one's going to take a few minutes if you guys are ready. I told you we had a big story coming up on this one. And we'll take a few minutes and go ahead and get into it now. Hudson badge. Now this car I do remember a little bit. I don't remember a lot about it, but I do remember a little bit about it. This car was around for a little bit, maybe a year and a half, 2 years. Sold in May of 79. And looks like he bought it towards the end of 77. So this car was around for about a year and a half. Like I said, sold May of 79, so I would have been just over 4 years old. But I do actually have recollections of this particular car. Fairly in-depth, almost restoration on basically what at the time was an 8-year-old car. But we'll go through some of this, but we can see lists of work Dad did to this car. So, if you haven't caught any of these before, this is a car that Dad did back in the late 70s, and it actually ended up being pretty much a good chunk of a restoration, especially considering the car was only 8 years old. On this 1969, and Pete brought this up a couple weeks ago when he was here, what got me hooked on F-bodies? This was one of them. This 1969 Camaro convertible. Now, this was kind of a basic car. It was a 327, 3-speed on the floor. Dad said it had hubcaps on it when he bought it. He put the rally wheels on it and basically did almost a full restoration on this car. Several pictures of this one. And yes, it was an Olympic gold car with a white interior and white top. Now, we've got a slug of paperwork on this particular car. Lots more hearts. The hearts are rolling again. Now, remember, this car was, Dad bought this towards the end of 77. Some of this paperwork shows around August of 77. So this car was 8 years old. Okay? Here's what he had to do to an 8-year-old car in 1977. Grind valves, replace cam and lifters, overhaul starter, overhaul carb, overhaul alternator, R&R brake hoses, flush cooling system, replace hoses, replace wiper blades, R&R radio and speaker, replace rear carpet, replace top, R&R windshield moldings, body work, 40 hours of body work, install wheels and tires, R&R seat for repair, service job, R&R the clutch, R&R rear main seal, R&R tailpipe, R&R remove and replace, cover the armrest, fix a dash rattle, remove the radiator for repair, trim rings, had to remove the speedometer for repair, soft plugs, motor mounts, pinion seal, rear shocks, splash guards, antenna, front brake shoes, muffler, repair right window, install shifter boot, replace headlight switch, install brake pedal pads. And when I mentioned the 40 hours on the body, they did do a complete paint job on this car. So kind of crazy to think. That's right. Like Scott says, they built cars so much better back in the day. Yeah, the headliner on the convertible. Yeah. So let's check out some of the tickets, because Dad saved all these tickets from back in the day. Someone had painted it blue at one point, Dad said. And some of these tickets I can't make out. There's a convertible top, $81.95. Valve guides. No, that was just a bunch of part numbers, which doesn't tell us much today. Here's the clutch and pressure plate. The pressure plate was $26.10. The clutch plate was $17.60. So basically, you still bought. You didn't even buy a clutch kit at that point. You were still buying the pieces. Let's see. How many miles did it have on it? Let me see if some of this shows it when he bought it. $64,000. 64,000 is what it was showing mileage wise. The 327 fender emblem from GM was $2.18 for the front fender. It was a gold car is what it was supposed to be. Repair the radiator, $8. So you could repair it for $8. The last radiator I had done for that 78 F250 was over $900. And repair this one in January of 78 was $8. And that's another way to think about it. It's just like Scott with Rebel Driver said. This was a car. 69 Camaros today, especially convertibles, people lose their brains over them. This was a car. It was transportation. It went to the grocery store. It went wherever it needed to go. It went whether it was snowing, raining, blizzarding, tornado, because it was a car. And that's what happened to them back then. Seat repair, $20. Okay. New old stock parts in 1977. Well, they weren't new old stock. You ordered them from GM at that point. Wheel opening moldings, all four of them, $10.53 a piece. Bumper guard, $9.60. Door guards, $3. Emblem, $5.45. Brand new 69 Camaro GM grill, $30.85. $30 for a new grill. Paint. We always like checking out the paint prices, right? 1 gallon of Ditzler in Olympic gold, which is a yellow base. And we know in today's world, yellow and red, all paint is stupid. Yellow and red are completely stupid. 1 gallon of paint. Now, this was single stage paint. Was $19.40. I think those are pre-EPA prices. $19.40 for a gallon of paint. Sandpaper, 25 sheets of sandpaper, $4.50. Now, one interesting story about this car, and this is one of the things that I do remember about this car, which is kind of weird. And here's why. Now, this is what I remember, and we've actually, as crazy as it sounds, here's the story of what I remember. And the story that I remember is literally right here in these tickets. March 27th, 1978, 1 gallon of Ditzler paint. March 31st, 4 days later, 25 sheets of sandpaper. April 6th of 78, 3 more quarts of the same number, 2082 of Ditzler. So, what happened? This is the one thing I remember about this car, even at 4 years old. And I just couldn't, well, actually, I was only 3.5 when this happened. And I still remember this to this day. So, we bought a gallon of paint March 27th. We bought a bunch of sandpaper March 31st. And we needed 3 more quarts of paint on April 6th. So I was 3.5, and I still remember this to this day. And I couldn't understand how the car ended up with all these tiny holes in it. I remember seeing it in the paint booth, and it had all these tiny holes in it. I was like, how does a car get all these tiny holes in it? Fish-eyed. You know, I know what happened now. Obviously, there was some contaminants in there that they didn't know about, and they shot it, and it fish-eyed. But my 3.5-year-old brain sees all these little, round spots all over the car, and I think the car's a piece of Swiss cheese now or something. I was like, this car didn't have holes in it, and now it has holes in it. My 3.5-year-old brain couldn't wrap itself around what happened, other than this car now is full of holes. But what's weird is that I remember that, and we literally have the tickets here that follows that scenario of exactly when that happened. Which is what's kind of fun about doing this for me, but so that's kind of weird. But that's one of the things I do remember about that car is that the paint fish-eyed on it. Now, I didn't know those tickets were in there telling the story in order. More new parts. Lenses 449, Bezel 561. It didn't say which ones they were. And let's see, what else do we have in here? I know we're spending a lot of time on this one, guys, and I told you this one was going to take a few minutes, so I hope that's okay with you. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. And some of these, like that one just said emblem. This one just says boot. So it's not really giving us much description about it. So, but that gives you kind of a basic idea of what this old Camaro convertible really took. I mean, essentially, did the top end of the motor. It was a 3-speed manual, so didn't have to, go through the transmission. But put a rear main seal in it, put a clutch in it, put a top end on it, did the heads, cam, lifters. I think it said did pinion seal. Yep, did a pinion seal, rear shocks, painted it, top, carpet, fixed the seat. So it was almost a restoration on this old 69 Camaro convertible. That, like I said, part of what started me off on F-bodies. Well, thanks, Kenny. I appreciate that. This one kind of drug out. I was hoping I wasn't losing everybody and boring everybody with it. I would imagine it was a Kansas car. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate that. Like I said, I hope I didn't bore everybody to death with this one because I knew this one was going to drag out. That's why we didn't do it last week. Don't know where the car is now. Dad sold it in May of 1979, May 1, 1979, right before we moved. So this is probably what helped finance the house we were moving to, I'm guessing. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Like I said, I knew this was going to drag out. I was hoping I wasn't going to bore everybody to death with it. But I knew this one was going to take some time if we were going to tell the story correctly, especially with going back to what my 3.5-year-old brain remembered and getting us to where we are today and telling a good story with story time on this 1969 Camaro 327 3-speed convertible. Yeah, we've got the VIN number. In fact, when I was setting things up tonight, I screenshotted the VIN number and sent it to Dad. So, let's see. He got $3,300 out of it. After all that work, paint, top end of the motor, he got $3,300 out of it. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see if maybe we'll punch this VIN and see if it pops up. So, we don't have a lot in Salton, Kansas, Jeff. No, we don't. So $3,300 for a basically restored 10-year-old 69 Camaro convertible. Let's make paint prices great again, says Loader Mike. Yeah, I don't blame you. Dad bought it. He did have the cost of car written down. $800 is what he paid for it. And then put 150 hours of labor in it. Yep, that's right, Big Job. And in fact, once again, this one picture, we can see right there, and we've talked about this before, is there's the garage that he did all this in. It was all done in that single car garage. Other than they painted it at the dealership that he worked at. But all this work was done in that single car garage. You know, and it's crazy to think about that, you know, almost even most hobbyists have a lift in their garage anymore. But, you know, he did all this on the ground, on jack stands in that single car garage. And that's with all the cars we've looked at. We haven't really gotten into much after we moved and he put his first shop up. But that's where it all came from. And you're right, Alex. And I think that's why he sold this one. You know, we were getting ready to move to a bigger house. There was room out there he could put a shop up for. So, yeah, I'm sure that's where this money went. You know, the crazy part about it now is that's where it started from, and then where we're at now with the buildings and the cars that we've worked our way up to. But it all started right there. I don't know. We'll probably run the VIN and see if it pops up. Just kind of crazy to think about when we look at today's world and we look at all these people, you can't even get them to show up for work. Yep, the garage is still there. Yep. I guess we could drive by it next spring. If you guys are out here for the gathering of the nobodies, we could drive by it and we can show it to you. I don't know who lives there, but we can drive by and say, there it is, because it's still there. Yep. 6-cylinder 69 Camaro for $900 for a drag car project. Yep. That was, I know we had another one that we were going to build for me that we never did, but I think it was a complete car. It ran, but it had been parked, but we put a battery in it, got to fire up, a little 327 automatic, a complete car. I think we bought it for $250 or $300. So yeah, that's true. It was sold. When Dad sold it, it went to a town about 45 miles from here, but it was sold after that. And we did hear it went out of state after that in the 80s. But there again, who knows what's happened since then. But yep, that's where it all started at. That's what got us here today. We'll just show up and say, hey, we're going in your garage. Anyway, we'll keep moving. I know you guys don't want to drag this out forever, but I knew that one was going to take some time to do it right. So I appreciate you guys indulging me in that and letting me go back and relive a little bit of that too. So. Yeah, hopefully it did. It actually did go to a car collector. He bought it as kind of a fun little driver for a convertible. So it did get sold to a car collector. So I would imagine it probably, hopefully was taken care of and is still out there somewhere. So you never know. Maybe it'll pop up one of these days. Hoods and badge. But that one was fun. Let's burn through the raffle stuff real quick. Let's do a bonus drawing, then let's get into some auction stuff. What do you guys think? Matt's back from a swap meet in Oregon. Guitars in. No, I'm pretty sure the car's not in the garage. So. Who's in this week? Remember, we are giving away this killer Fire Chief Texaco pump plate. Dated 1941. Definitely has some whammies in it, but that gives it a little bit of character, but it's a great piece. We'll get some Texaco cans or something to go with it for the raffle this month as well for the second and third prizes. But that's going to be our big one right there. Daniel's here with us. Who's in this week? Who's in for the first week of the Texaco pump plate drawing? Pappy, Bill Disk, Kevin Brown, Austin McCoy, Randy Ellenberger, Alex Kalish, and Tony Napoli. Those names are all in the big Buick oil can from the first week of the Texaco pump plate raffle. I suppose we should give away an emblem, right? We have refilled the Fleet can. the El Rico can with emblems out of the viewer boxes. Our awesome viewer that was thinning his collection down and sent us a bunch of emblems. We put a bunch of them in the El Rico fleet can, and we're going to give some of those away. Now, please remember, these bonus drawings go with your next shipment. They do not ship by themselves. So, let's see. I don't even remember what's in here. I haven't looked in a while. Let's grab this one, whatever it is. Coronet. Something for the Mopar fans. Let's grab a name out of the big Buick oil can for the Coronet badge. Just looked at the Coronet yesterday. Pappy. Well, I guess you're getting a Coronet badge. There's number one. So let's get, we're going to put this off the side, put it in Pappy's next box. And as always, these do not hurt you in the main drawing. You go right back in to the big Buick oil can for the big drawing at the end of the month. So, husband badge. You know what we haven't done yet tonight, guys? You know what we haven't done yet tonight, guys? The big kahuna. No, we have not brought out the big guns yet tonight. The big monster Auburn 12 bumper badge. Oh, yeah. Don't get this out very often. It's pretty powerful stuff. We can't show this too many times tonight. Some of you guys have to work and function tomorrow. There it is, making its appearance tonight. The magical Auburn 12 bumper badge. All right, who's ready for some auctions? Reshuffle a few things here. Get that out of the way, get my notepad ready, and I'm going to round up some auction stuff, and we're going to add some killer stuff to your guys' collection. And obviously, we've got Facebook back tonight, so it looks like some of you guys will be able to play along. We're going to keep an eye over there as well, so we will have bids probably coming in from both directions now. I'm going to round some stuff up. We're going to have some fun. We're going to add some stuff to your guys' collections. Oh, I'm not worried about falling, but yeah, actually when I knelt down, guys, I felt that starting to like lock back up. So when I actually knelt down, I was like, uh-oh, that's bad. So I kind of stayed there for a second and kind of slowly moved my leg back out of it because it was going to be a bad deal. I had a feeling. I was going to have to yell, I'm going for the mustard if something happened. And I don't know why I keep getting stuff ready every week, guys. I have so much stuff piled up in here that we got a lot of cool stuff to do. All right. I think we're getting ready to boogie here. We'll start off with a few smaller things, a few cheaper pieces. As always, we'll hold up a piece. We'll describe it to you. We'll talk about it. We'll show you what it looks like. We'll talk about that car. We'll show you any damage it may have. We may give you some dimensions on it. As we're talking about it, if you guys are interested in it, be sure to throw a bid out there so I know we've got interest in that piece. When we get down to the description, I will put it on a timer on my phone. We will go 2 minutes. I will announce when 1 minute has passed, and I will announce when 1 minute 30 seconds has passed. When I give you the minute 30, it is time to throw your maximum bid out there. Because everybody has a delay. Whether that delay is 5 seconds or 30 seconds, everybody has a delay. So when I tell you a minute 30 is gone and there's only 30 seconds left, it's time to be hitting it with your max bid. If you only bid at $1 or $2, you're probably going to get sniped. If you're going to go another 5 or 10, you usually got a shot at getting it. The first few pieces, I will read all the bids as I see them, even if they are not the high bids, so you guys can get an idea of what I'm seeing on my screen versus what you're seeing on your screen. And I think there's 1 or 2 pieces that may have shipping if we get to it. Most of the stuff shipping will be included. If we get to one of the bigger pieces, I will be sure to let you guys know that there's shipping on that. So anyway, we got a lot of cool stuff to do tonight. We'll see how far we get through and what all we want to do. But we'll start off with a few pieces. You guys tell me what you think. Shipping is included in the 48 states. Excuse me. If you're not in the U.S. in shipping, you will have non-U.S. shipping. If some of you guys want to buy up for a few weeks and then pay and do the shipping at the same one time, that's fine as well. Yeah, that's true. Loader Mike isn't that far away, so that was a bad night. I don't know how long I was down, but it seemed like I was on the floor for 2 or 3 minutes. Maybe it was longer. But I know it was a bad deal. I mean, that thing locked up. And I didn't want to scream because I didn't want you guys to completely freak out, but it was a bad deal. Let's go ahead and start off with a few smaller things. We're going to start off with a couple of toys. We did a bunch of these a while back. I bought a whole big box of these. I'm down to the last few handfuls. We're going to sell them as pairs on these little trucks. One of these is a Buddy L. One of these is a Tonka. They're both great-looking little trucks. 70s-era tin toys, a blue Tonka, and a red Buddy L. Check out these cute little dudes. We're going to sell them as a pair. I got a couple of handfuls of them left. We'll go ahead and get worked through them. This Tonka, great condition. I mean, almost new condition. It's not chipped up. It's not beat up. Even the back where the trailer would hook up isn't scratched up too bad. The bottom side looks great. Beautiful one. The Buddy L has been played with a little bit. It does have some scuffs and scratches in it, but it's not too bad. Obviously, a different front end on the Buddy L. Kind of crazy to think these are 70s era. These are 50 years old. In fact, this Tonka is kind of amazing me how clean it is for its age. So I'm actually kind of thinking maybe you guys don't need to bid on these, and then I'll just keep them. But we'll see. If nobody bids on them, I think I'm going to keep this Tonka. That thing, holy cow, that thing is clean. I didn't realize how nice that thing was. So anyway, blue Tonka, red Buddy L. What do you guys think? Matt's back. We've had some more ad issues. We may see how things go tonight. Maybe we can't do much auction stuff depending on this ad situation. Once again, it is not giving me a notification whether or not I can kill them. So, yeah, Michael L says, Goal says keep it. I kind of, well, now bids are coming in. Loader Mike at 20, Kevin L at 10, Big Job at 25. That means I got to sell them. Let's get them on the timer. I'll get them written up. Man, that thing is nice. I can't believe how, I really don't think that's been played with. I mean, for not to be scratched up back here from hooking a trailer to it, I don't think it's been played with. Zach, 26, Whiskey Business. We got a few more of these to sell. I'm going to look them over a little closer next time. One minute gone, 1 minute left to go. Zach at 26, Whiskey Business. Probably not going to happen. Probably keeping the promos. And there's a minute 30. 30 seconds left to go. Whiskey Business at 26. Yeah, I don't blame you. I want to try to buy more from the dealer that I know that bought them after I get this building closed. Zach at 26 as we're winding this one down. Loader Mike at 40. And that does it. Loader Mike at 40 coming in there at the last second. Mike's a big truck guy, so I know he can appreciate these. All right, I just found another batch of these airplane pictures I had in here. We'll do these real quick. These are probably going to end up in Alex's box too, but you never know. The first one is just a control panel. It is marked Beach Twin Bonanza, August 3rd of 1955. Old school, original from the 50s on this Beach Bonanza. Naval N3N aircraft. This is an old biplane marked Naval N3N. This is a jet, but it's not a very good picture, and it's not marked. And then we've got one more, and this is a great one. It's also a Navy plane. It's a 5x8, the Goshawk fighter plane. The USS Lexington, U.S. Navy, 5x8. And gnats. We got gnats. So anyway, this batch of old aviation pictures. What do we think? Nobody likes these. If we don't like them, I'll throw them back in a box. I got a whole box of these. They can go right back in there. If I can get a hold of them. Alex at 15. I figured when Alex started commenting as to what they were, I figured Alex would be on them. We'll go ahead and start. Those they may just be Alex's. Alex has bought most of the rest of them. I know Joe's asked about a few of them, but I know Joe likes most of the Warbirds like I do. Kevin at 17. We're ticking away. Kevin at 17. I don't know. These aren't real valuable. That's what we do. And we do them in the beginning, kind of let people get an idea where things are at and how things are going. So, but they're still cool. One minute gone, 1 minute left to go. Yep, that's what I thought, Joe. When I seen you post those pictures on the Nobody's page, figured you and I like pretty much the same airplanes. Alex 20. And there's the minute 30 mark. 30 seconds left to go. Alex at 20. Working away to the end of these. Alex at 20. And that does it. Alex at 20. How about some plates? We need to do some plates tonight. This one's going to be a pair. From a little bit north of me. Nut Farm's getting thirsty. There you go. Up north in Nebraska from 1965, the beef state. But by 1969, they had changed that to the Cornhusker state. So what the heck? We'll sell you one of each. The 1965 Nebraska beef state. It has a little bit of paint loss along the bottom. This is on embossed stamped steel plate. The beef state is all stamped right in it. And it is a very interesting font. Look at those fours. And in 1969, the Cornhusker state also has kind of the funky fours. This one is metal on the back with a coating on the front. Does have the shape of the state kind of in it. And we're going to sell a pair of these. Nut Farm at 10. Mark's cut off. Let's get started on the timer on these. Now, I don't know, Scott at 25, why these are 42-154, but this one has an A in it. So it is a set for the two different years, except this has an A in there for some reason. I don't know if they changed something in the law. Martin at 28, but it is a set of 42-154. One is the beef state, one is the Cornhusker state. Martin at 28, you're going to get the pair of them. Pappy 30, just past the 1 minute mark. Martin at 31 as we hit the minute 30 mark. 30 seconds left to go. Martin at 31. You're getting both of them. Could be. I don't know. We're going to find out here in a few short seconds as we're coming down to the end of this one. We've got Martin at 31. Pappy 35. Adam 32, but I got Pappy at 35 over here on YouTube already. We only got a few seconds left. Zach, 46. And that does it. Zach had 46. Adam had a 40 in there. Martin had a 36 in there. They all came in a little bit late, but Zach had them covered with that 46, but he must have known they were coming. Okay, this next piece, guys, I hate to do this, but I told myself when I bought it, I forgot those were in there too. Holy cow, I got a lot of stuff in here, guys. All right, I hate to do this. I don't want to do this. But I told myself when I bought this at the Springfield swap meet, and I bought it because I knew you guys would dig it. Hudson badge. I've been thinking about keeping it, but I was like, no, I bought it because I knew one of you guys would love this thing. But the more I look at it, the cooler it gets. So I'm going to sell it before I completely change my mind and don't, because that's why I bought it, was to sell. So I should not say Pappy when you bid. Just say the number and don't say Pappy is what. So I guess I better not use Pappy's name. I'll just read his bid, and you guys can see that it's Pappy. All right, I'm going to show this to you guys before I change my mind because it's cool. I dig it. I don't have one. But when I bought it at the Springfield swap meet, I knew you guys would like it. So here it is. The 1960 Oldsmobile trunk ornament. Call him Peppy. I bought this. I was like, man, you guys would dig this thing. But the more I look at it, the more I see how nice it is, the more I wanted to keep it. But I told myself I bought it for you guys. I bought it for the auction. It's super killer. So I guess we're going to auction it. Unless you bid a little bit, you guys only bid like $20, then I'll bid $25 so I can keep it. Like we talked about, it is the trunk handle piece. Loader Mike at $25. Don't mess around. 14.5 inches long. The big rocket right in the middle of it. Beautiful chrome. Pete at 50. Kevin at 50. So we've already seen it. Let's get it on the timer. Pete and Kevin both hung up at 50, but I probably won't last anyway, so we'll see what happens. I hate to let this thing go, but it's cool. Mary at 55. Pete, 60. Nick, 70. A cool bolo tie, yeah. Except it's 14 inches wide. I'm going to look for something else to sell so I don't have to stare at it. 1 minute gone, 1 minute left to go. Nick, 70. Minute 30 is gone. 30 seconds left to go. Nick at 70. Everything got all quiet, and we're coming down to the end. Nick at 70. Let's see if that holds. Just about ready to wrap it up. And that does it. Nick 70 held. Pete had a 74 in there at 202. Kevin had a 75. Just a couple seconds too late. But it's pretty. God, it's pretty. One more quick look before that goes in Nick's box. Okay, let's do another plate. I'll get my mind off of it. Going back 77 years. Holy cow, that's 77 years now. Back to 1947. This is another good starter plate. It's a really nice, presentable looking plate, but it's not perfect, so it's not a high dollar plate. Going back to Kansas, 1947. 47 was kind of an off-white with this black lettering. We haven't done a lot of these. I don't think this one has some paint loss, but a lot of these had a lot more paint loss than this. This one, the back's even pretty decent. This has been fairly well preserved. We can see some paint chipping off the bottom. We see some paint chipping off around the K. This is close to a standard size plate, but it doesn't look exact. I got to keep moving. I got to quit thinking about that Olds badge. It's a little narrower. It's about 12 inches long, but it's a little narrower. About 5 3/8. Pappy starting us off at 15 on the Kansas 47. Let's go ahead and roll with it. Pretty good looking plate. Nice original. Like I said, it's not one of the $50 plates, but it's a nice looking plate. Loader Mike at 20. Alex at 25. I don't know. Maybe it's a $50 plate. Maybe there's enough paint on there that you guys dig it more than I thought. I just was afraid that since it had some paint loss, you guys might not be quite as excited about it. We've got Alex at 25. Just past that 1 minute mark. Alex at 25. Just under a minute left to go. Minute 30 gone. 30 seconds left. Pappy, 26. Oh, I said your name. Sorry about that, Pappy. And Pappy gets her done. Okay. flies. Watch out, YouTube guys. Oh, missed him, you little. Okay. All right, on to the next piece. This is another great piece. I'm excited about this one. Good looking piece. I think you guys are going to dig it as well. On this Hudson horn button. Look at that, guys. How much for the swatter? That thing's invaluable. I see some more of them little suckers around here. This thing's invaluable. Yep, looky there. Sounds great, Pappy. Glad you were here tonight. Now, this is not the one we just looked at. It's the same thing, but it's not the same one. We can see it's got the curved lens here, the curved lens in the back showing the depth. This one, the chrome around here is not quite as bright. Loader Mike at 20, Alex at 35. The red is actually a little bit better on this one than it is in mine. This is mine. This is the one that we looked at earlier. This is the one I'm keeping. This is the one that's going to one of your collections. So you can see the chrome on the edge is not as bright. The red in the center on this one is a little bit better than this one. And just as a reminder, this is 4 7/8 in diameter. So basically fills your whole hand to hold this thing. So let's get this thing rolling. We've got Alex Kalish at 35 on the Hudson horn button. And let's get boogieing. Mary at 40. Zach, 55. This could be a sniper item. You know, that's why we spent so much time with the one when we looked at the other one and checked out the depth perception of the way they made this stuff look. They did an amazing job on it. Ads. 1 minute. 1 minute gone. 1 minute left to go. Hopefully the ads clear up here pretty quick. Okay, we've got several ads popping up. All right, we'll stop it real quick. We've got a couple guys with ads. Let's get it all clear here. And we are back. Okay. We're back. Zach at 55, Whiskey Business. And coming up on that minute 30 mark. Minute 30 gone, 30 seconds left to go. Zach, Whiskey Business at 55. About ready to wrap this one up. Whiskey Business at 55. Mary at 60. And that got it done. Mary at 60. Zach came back with a 61, but it was too late. Mary takes home the big Hudson horn button. All right. That was fun, too. What else we want to do? Didn't somebody want to do a Michigan plate one time? I got a Michigan plate. I got some other state plates. Oh, I got a cool set of plates. Emblems. Let's do some emblems. We haven't done many badge bundles lately. I got a couple of those ready. Let's do a couple badge bundles. First off, for our Ford fans. Starting off with an early 60s hood badge. This is kind of a statement piece. This is a pop metal badge. It was right on the front of the hood for an early 60s Ford pickup. 7 3/4 wide. This is 7 3/4 tip to tip. It is a C1 number, so it started in 61. Alan should be able to agree with me on that one. Hopefully I got it right. On this one, the big Ford front hood badge going along with it. Loader mic at 25, Mary at 20. Custom cab. This also 60s era off the door. This has a few pits in it, but it does have nice bright chrome. It is pretty flat. It's sweet just a little bit. The mounting studs are there. This is about 11.5 inches long on the custom cab door emblem. One other badge going with it. This is off of a late 40s, 48 to 50 era. Once again, Ford truck. This is off the side of the hood. This is a stainless badge. The lettering was painted originally. You could kind of paint it whatever color you wanted, wherever you were going to hang it. We're going to put it on a red toolbox. You could probably paint it red, paint it blue. Who cares? This is about 8 1/4 tip to tip. So all three of these going together. Mary, 45. We'll get this thing on the timer and get going on the Ford truck badge bundle. What are you doing, chunky butt? Meow. Coming up on the 1 minute mark, Mary at 45. One minute gone, 1 minute left to go. And there's the minute 30 mark. Only 30 seconds left. Mary at 45. Just about ready to wind this one down. Coming into the last few seconds. Mary at 45. Big Job at 50. And that gets it done. Big Job slid that 50 in. Perfect shot at about 157. Mary came back with a 51, but it was too late. Big Job at 50. That was awful quiet. I thought Mary had that one locked in, and boom, Big Job slides in there right at the end. Yeah, Alan, I don't have any comments from you on Facebook at all. Are you on, well, Alan, which page are you on? Are you on the Nobody Show page or the Nobody Else's Auto page? Because the Nobody Show page are the comments that I can't see. So if you were on the Nobody's Show Facebook page, and I can go back and look after the fact, then no, I cannot see those comments since this is shared from the Nobody Else's Auto page. Okay, yep, that was the problem. Okay, yep, that's what happens. Yep, you've got to be on the nobody else's auto page for me to see that stuff. I'm going to mark these emblems real quick. Got them all taped together, so we're good to go. Let's do one more badge bundle real quick, because we haven't done many of these. We got a good, nice handful of emblems. Let's do another quick one for our Chevrolet fans. No, it was nice. No ads. Yeah. These are small ones for our Chevy fans, but you're getting a whole handful of them. They all fit right nicely in the palm of your hands. Starting off with this, like, was popped out of a grill or something. A small Chevrolet Sunburst. A Malibu, I believe this is like 68, 69 era door panel, maybe 70, 71. Small door panel emblem. This is metal. This one is metal too. It's kind of a thin tin. This is pop metal. The studs are broke on it, but it is a cute little Malibu badge. Another Malibu badge from the mid-70s. This is a front fender badge. Chrome plated pop metal. Studs broke on it as well when I took it off. Vega, 70s Vega. As well as a Corvair 110 badge. One-shot deal, you get them all. Now let's see if I can hold these things up so you guys get to see them. Kenny at 15. And here we go. We're on the timer. Sometimes this gets to be a trick, guys. I ain't kidding. There we go. All for one money. I may have them held up by then. Kenny at 15. The whole handful, one-shot deal. That's a very good point, Pete. I'm sure Janet could do an outstanding job of holding emblems. One minute gone, 1 minute left to go. That's it. Kenny at 15. We're almost to the minute 30 mark. Kenny may get a smoking deal. We're going to find out in 30 seconds because that's all that's left is 30 seconds. Loader Mike at 18. Zach, 26. And that does it. Whiskey Business at 26. Bill, this came back at a 28, but it was too late. All right, let me bundle these all back up so we don't lose any of them. do next? Yeah, actually, Janet would be like really good, like right here. She could hold license plates. She could sit here and just hold them up for us, and we could all stare at the license plates. And of course, it would be like really tough for me to watch the comments while I was staring at the license plate if Janet was here holding them for us. So, Mary wants a cap. I don't have any regular caps. I've got a grease cap. I've got a grease cap that is one that we've never done. If you guys want a grease cap, but I forgot to grab caps today at the yard. I got so busy with that 66 Impala Super Sport left today. I had another guy came through from California today. So I forgot to grab caps unless we want to do a grease cap. Valve covers, I've got some valve covers. I should round some of those up. We have not done those in a while. That's a good idea as well. Big job. Who wanted a Michigan plate? Didn't somebody want to do a Michigan plate? Let's do it. Oh, this is a cool set. You guys definitely want some valve covers? All right, we'll dig some of those out. How about another set? Sets are always fun. Alex says, do the grease cap. All right, we ready for it? Let's do the grease cap real quick. Alex wants to do the grease cap. We did one similar to this. We have never done this one, and the one that was similar to this was a lot rougher. Oh, EV stuff? I don't have any EV stuff, no. This is, like I said, we did one similar to this, only it was larger. It was the rear axle. I believe this is the front axle. Mid-20s era, 23, 24, maybe 25. From Lincoln. Check this thing out. This thing's beautiful. We did a larger version of this where they had ran a screw right through the Lincoln. This one is scraped, but it's still very clear. We can still see the Ford above it. Lincoln, Detroit. Nut Farm at 25. This thing looks pretty darn decent. It's not perfect, but it's 100 years old. Inside's pretty clean. Internal threads. We see the hex around the outside. Lots of bids already. Nut Farm 25, IC Harp 25, and Alex at 40. So we've got Alex at 40. But like I said, it's got some wear to it. It's got some scuffs and scratches in it. But, man, it's a killer piece. You can really see the font in there. It is. You're right, Kenny. I am going to agree with you completely. Nut Farm 45. This is dished in here. Then there's this outer ring. Then you've got your hex part. Let me give you guys a size on this thing since this is smaller than the last one we sold. It is 3 1/8 across the hex. It's 3 5/8 across the back. And it's 1 3/8 deep. So there you have it on dimensions. 35 on Facebook, 45 from the Nut Farm. And I guess it's time to let her rock and roll. It's awesome. Ford, Lincoln, and Detroit all stamped into this cap. Let's get it on the timer. Let's see what happens. 100-year-old Lincoln grease cap. And that must be it. That must have been it. Everybody's already done. Alex, 55. Well, we're going to find out what's going to happen in 1 minute because we've got 1 minute gone and 1 minute left to go. Glenn, 57. Nut Farm, 60. Ads. Okay, we better stop. We're almost to that minute 30 mark. We've got ads. Alex at 70. All right, looks like that must have been it for ads. So we're getting to the minute 30 mark. Minute 30 gone, 30 seconds left to go. Alex at 70. Coming down to the end on this one, I've got Alex at 70. Coming down to the end, about ready to wrap it up. Alex at 70. Nut Farm 75. Pete 79. And that does it. Pete snuck it in there with a 79. That time he got it in at about 158. Alex came back at an 80. Nut Farm came back at 80. That's what I was wondering, Glenn. I was wondering what you were doing bidding on it, but it is beautiful. But man, Pete at 79, holy cow, that was nuts. But it's a killer piece too, so you got to bear that in mind. All right, I promised you guys a set of plates. D tags, in order, same numbers. D144D 76. D144D 77. And D144D 78. Bright, colorful plates, blue and white, green and yellow, blue and white. In order, same plate, same number, 3 years in a row. Loader Mike at 35. You're getting the full set. All three in order, same tag, same dealership, same D number, same D plate, all in original condition. Martin at 40. All right, let's get on the timer here. I was holding them all up. I couldn't figure out how to start the timer. Martin at 40. You're getting all three of them in one shot. And that's right. They're you can see the shine on them. They got great colors. They're good-looking plates. You're right, Glenn. It is a plate bundle. That is right, Kenny. Martin at 40. Alex, 42. One minute gone, 1 minute left to go. Martin, 43. Minute 30 gone, 30 seconds left to go. Zach at 45. Martin, 46. Coming down to the end, Martin at 46, Zach 49. Mike 55 with Loader Mike at 159. Loader Mike at 55 at 159. Holy cow. You had like no time to spare, Loader Mike, but you got it done. Come here, fly. Ooh, I think I got him that time. All right. What else we want to do? We want to do a few more things. We want to wrap it up. What do we want to do, guys? Pete says keep going. You want to do the Michigan plate? We can do the Michigan plate. Big job going for 20 ads. This is actually kind of a beast of a plate. Austin hasn't got anything yet. We got to keep going. This is a lot of a plate. This thing's big and heavy. 13 5/8 by 5 7/8. On this, geez, this thing is heavy for a plate. I mean, heavy. Toys, we did those trucks earlier. I got a whole big box of toys over there, but I don't think we're going to get to them tonight. I need to. I bought them all at Springfield, but I think they're too cool, so now I've been selling them. I've got a kind of a bigger can, but it's not huge. No bow ties tonight. Just that one Chevy badge bundle was all I had for Chevy emblems. But this Michigan plate is heavy. It's a beast. It's steel on this 1948 Michigan. Buggy steps. I've got some more buggy steps. I was going to grab some last week, and I forgot to. I don't have much left, but I've got a couple left. Thanks for reminding me, Nut Farm. I need to get some of those in. Well, it's not like the kind of can you think. But it is a pretty cool can. We can do it. But check out this 1948 Michigan. There should almost be shipping on this thing. No grills or grill shells. Nope, don't have anything like that big. This thing is a monster. It's thick. It's heavy. Stamped steel, 1948 Michigan. Silver with black lettering. Like we just told you, this thing is 13 5/8. Whoa, come back here. Yeah, not rusty coming from Michigan. Kind of surprising. Some surface rust, but Dad's a little character. Nut Farm 20, Alex 35. This thing is pretty straight because I think it's too heavy to bend. I mean, this thing is, whoever ends up with this, when you get it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. There's some weight to this thing. It could be used for a patch panel. It is thick enough and heavy enough. Let's get this thing on the timer and get rolling as Martin's $40 bid comes in on the 1948 Michigan plate. Could be used as a floor pan. It's solid enough. Martin at 40 as we hit the 1 minute mark. 1 minute gone, 1 minute left to go. It could be, Kenny. I know it's heavy duty. A minute 30 gone, 30 seconds left to go. Alex, 42. Depends on what you're talking about, what you're looking for, Brian. I don't have any in the auction tonight. I know that, but it depends on what you're looking for. Coming down to the wire, Zach, 44. And that does it. Whiskey Business at 44. Martin came back with 45. It was a little too late, though. This can, it's kind of big and bulky. That's why I was going to put $10 shipping on it. And the other thing is I don't know how well you guys are going to like it. So it may not be a very high dollar piece, but because it's kind of big and bulky, it's going to have shipping. So we'll figure $10 in shipping on this. I think it's pretty cool. It's old service station type deal. But so figure $10 shipping on this can. If you like old service station stuff, I think you're going to like it. I think it's cool, but due to the size and the fact that it weighs a couple pounds, we'll figure $10 shipping on it. What it is this is an old oil can for bulk oil. This is a half-gallon Bricino trademark service station oil can. It had a tilt spout, so you would go fill up in your bulk container. You would tilt your spout down. Then you would hit this lever. When you would hit that lever, it would release, I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera, and let your oil flow out. So it's kind of a unique piece. We've done a few things like these in the past, but obviously you guys do like it. Mary has one almost like it. This is all stamped in it. It's in pretty good shape. It's got scuffs and scratches because it was used. The bottom, you can see where the spout hinges. Big job, hit 20 ads. There you go. The release button does still work. Like I said, I don't know if we can get enough light in there for you guys to see it or not. But it is a cool old can. So anyway, I already told everybody figure $10 shipping, even though it's done way better than I thought. I want everybody to stay on the same page. Let's get this thing on the timer. Mary at 60. Size. To the top of the spout, it is about 14 inches. To the top of the body, about 11. Just to give you an idea, guys, an idea on size. You could fill it with beer. Good idea, Nut Farm. The base is a little over 5 inches on the base. Mark remembers using them. One minute gone, 1 minute left to go. Mary at 60. Nut Farm 70. Kevin 75 as we hit the minute 30. 30 seconds left. Mary at 85. Big Job 100. Coming out of the end, Mary 120. And that does it. Mary's 120. Big Job came back with a 125, but it was a little too late. Cool piece. Kevin L came back 125. Yeah, I think you're right, Pete. I think they did. It is cool. I mean, I've got some other cans like this, but nothing like this. This is kind of an over-the-top one. I've got some other old service station cans, but nothing quite this cool. But how about we do like a small regular can? We haven't done any regular cans, and this is a beauty. It is empty. We've done one or two of these in the past similar to this. I don't know if we've done this exact one, but this thing has an amazing shine to it from our friends at Phillips 66. I don't see a year on this, but it is a metal can. I'm thinking this is probably 60s with the logo on it. What do you think, Gray Kitty? Meow. I got this junk in your way, don't I? Yes, I got everything piled in your way. So check this one out. It's a smaller can, 4 3/4 by 2.5. Oh, she wandered back over there. Check this thing out. Look at the shine on this and the colors on this. This was full. It's never been popped. I drained it from the bottom, but the colors are great. We can still see the original metal seam over here. And a great looking can on the cooling system stop leak. Old pop top. That tells you it's got some age to it because it's a metal can with a pop top on it. So if that doesn't age it, I don't know what does. But that earlier logo, the red and white shield on the Phillips 66 cooling system stop leak. Loader mic starting us off at 15. Cute little can. Directions on the back. Hey, quit tearing stuff up. And Gray Kitty trying to wreck the office. All right, let's get things rolling. Loader mic at 15. Kevin Brown, 22. One minute gone, 1 minute left to go. Kevin at 22. Coming up on the minute 30 mark. Minute 30 gone, 30 seconds left to go. Kevin at 22. Mark's jumping off as we're winding this one down. And Austin came in at just a hair too late at 25. It was at 2:01 when I seen Austin's 25 come in. Kevin at 22. Austin waited just a hair too long. A second earlier and you would have had it. All right, we'll catch a couple more things tonight, and then we'll catch a little bit in a magazine if you guys want. We'll see what happens. This thing is another really cool badge. And this thing is great. Highly detailed, got some age to it. Old school, original deal. And it's awesome. This is a 40s era Cadillac hubcap badge. This thing is killer. This thing has great patina, great look, enough color to be amazing. Yeah, check this thing out, guys. Look at that. This is a taller, more slender crest. It is 3 1/4 in diameter. This is all pressed in the metal. Look at the detail on the back of this thing. It did have tabs that clamped it onto a hubcap, but this thing is beautiful. So I think it's 40s. I'm sure it's 40s era because in the 50s they went to a shorter, flatter badge. We can see the ducks in it. We can see the detail in it. Even all these little lines. This is all pressed into the button or into the cap. So, anyway, we're ready to roll on this Cadillac hubcap badge. It's a beauty. Let's go ahead and get things moving. Nobody jumped in yet, which kind of surprised me. I thought these things were awesome. That or we're hung up on ads, which is extremely possible again. Nothing on the Cadillac badge. This is weird. Typically, Cadillac stuff does well. Loader mic at 20. Coming up on that 1 minute mark. 1 minute gone, 1 minute left to go. Another good bolo tie. Yep. That would fit a little bit better than that other one. And there's a minute 30. Minute 30 gone, 30 seconds left to go. Loader mic at 20, that's it. I really thought these were cooler than that, but maybe I was wrong. There we go. Zach at 26. I was like, holy cow. We're about ready to wrap it up. Whiskey Business at 26. And that did it. That got it done. And I was like, holy cow. I thought those were cooler than that. But maybe not. Okay, what do we think? We want to do one more or we want to wrap it up? Catch one more license plate or something before we get done tonight, or what do you guys think? We got more ads. We know that. All right, what do we want to do, guys? Want to catch a little bit in the magazine? Keep going. Let's see what you guys think. We're about ready to wind things down here. Austin still hasn't got. Let's catch another plate. And then Kevin's ready for the magazine. Let's catch one more plate. This is kind of a cool one. I like this one. It's got a little wear to it, but it's a great look. Very presentable. Just enough wear to show its age. Going back over 90 years to 1931 on this Kansas plate. And this is an attractive plate. Green, kind of a forest green, white letters. We do have a little paint loss over here on this side. I like the way they stack the KAN in kind of a arch in 31. This is one of the long, narrow plates that Kansas used from 31 to 37. It's 14 3/8 by 4 3/8. So this is 14 3/8, 4 3/8. Backside's got a little bit of paint loss, but it's not terrible either. But overall, a cool looking 90-plus-year-old 1931 plate. Kiowa County down towards Nick's area. So, what do we think? I guess that's what that whole collection is. I was thinking that 85 was something like, but that's that whole collection I've got is Kiowa. That's why the 85 was ringing a bell with me, Nick. Austin at 25. And low number, two-digit plate. Remember, the first two digits is the county in Kansas in this era. 29. So two-digit, one of the first handfuls that they handed out in 1931 in Kiowa County. Austin at 25. One minute gone, 1 minute left to go. You guys going to let Austin have this one tonight? I can say that, but this is pretty cool, so I kind of doubt anybody's going to let Austin have it. But I do know that we will know in about 30 seconds if you're going to let Austin have it for 25. Thanks for being here, Nut Farm. Glad you got to hang out tonight. Austin at 25. We're getting close to the end. You guys going to let him have one? Michael Gagola at 30. Austin at 32. He barely got it in at 150. It was going to 159. Tractor Mike at 35, but Austin barely snuck that in. I thought Michael had you covered, and you barely got it in. That was tight. Because Michael took his shot late. I thought he had you covered, but you got it done. All right, that was a blast tonight, guys. We had a lot of fun. Let's catch a little bit of magazine stuff before we wrap up tonight. I don't want to run too much later on you guys. I know we've all got to get up and get things done tomorrow. And let's catch a couple of quick articles in our Automobile Trade Journal from 1913. That's right. Just like Kenny says, congratulations to all the winners. We had a blast tonight. Some awesome stuff going to your guys' collection. I'm excited about that. Even the few pieces I really didn't want to sell, but I told myself I had to because that's why I bought them, as it was going to here, so I did it. Back to the Automobile Trade Journal from September of 1913. We're going to catch a couple of articles in here real quick before we wrap things up tonight. And fortunately, we've still got Kevin's business card right in here for our bookmark. Keep those handy. And one thing we're going to learn about, awesome, Austin, appreciate it. One thing we're going to learn a little bit about for 1914, the new Overland. I got out of here at 2 this morning. So I do sleep a little bit. I did quit at 2. I had to, I don't blame you, David. Got to do retirement stuff. I worked on all this. I got all my eBay ready for next week. And then we've talked about it a little bit before. My buddy with the Beaumont Hotel in Beaumont, Kansas. I worked on a bunch of his YouTube content last night, trying to get some stuff posted for him. So, I got out of here about 2. By the time I got home, took a shower, wound down, I got to bed about 3. But I did sleep in this morning, guys. I didn't set the alarm to go off till 7:30. So I did sleep in since I didn't get out of here till 2. So I do sleep occasionally. But coming out in 1914, about spilled my water. That would have been a bad deal. The Overland. I actually have a picture of the new Overland for 1914. Specifications of the new models of the Overland car, just announced by the Willys Overland Company, Toledo, Ohio, reveal a line applying 3 body designs to the same chassis construction. The 1914 Overland cars are not radically different from those of the season just past, although they show differences in the matter of dimensions and added equipment rather than in other aspects. A brief view of the details shows that the 4-cylinder singly cast motor is very similar in construction to that of the Model 69. Developed 35 horsepower. Tall roof for tall hats. That's exactly right, 49. That's a good point. Look at the roof line on that thing. Just as that's a great point, because that's just as aerodynamic as your house. So, kind of interesting. We're looking back at what is coming out for 1914. Let's see. Let's talk about some of the passenger appointments. A roomy cowl dash touring body seating 5 passengers and finished in dark green with light green striping and nickel and aluminum trimmings is mounted on a wheelbase of 114 inches. Its doors are U-shaped, very wide, and hinged at the front on disappearing hinges so that the sides of the body remain without projections. At the rear of the front seats, where the passenger's feet occasionally come in contact with the finished body surface, a protector strip is provided. The steering gear is of the worm and complete worm gear type, adjustable with ball thrust bearings. Kind of crazy to think about that in our world today compared to the day back then. Disappearing hinges, hidden hinges, was a notable trait in 1914 for cleaner body lines. Something we don't even think about today. But back then, that was worth noting on what was coming out with the 1914 Overland. The Roadster body is of attractive design, also the cowl dash type, with a 32-gallon tank at the rear. Back of the tank is a large steel tool compartment, large enough for the regular touring requisites. Both touring car and Roadster have vertical tire carriers in the rear, accommodating 2 spare casings. See you next week, Mary. Glad you were here. So that's a little bit about the new for 1914 Overland. Yeah, I do. I need to get some. Pete sent me that bag that was not made 14 years ago, so I do have some of those. And I may have to. Holy cow. We'll just catch a little bit more here about the Overland, and then we'll probably go ahead and get ready to wrap because I don't know if I'm going to pull out of this or not. But what we do have, a couple of shots I do want to share with you about the new 1914 Overland, is we actually have an engine and chassis pictures that we definitely want to check out. Check out the engine. This is the 79 motor, and then the chassis. So, yeah, I got a couple more things I wanted to catch in here, but we can always catch them later. But at least we got to learn a little bit more about the 1914 Overland in case anybody was considering ordering one of those next week. So anyway, I think that will go ahead and catch us for tonight. That's right, Kenny. That's why we do it. Great history on that stuff. And a lot of fun doing it. So, yeah, a lot of you guys need to get going. I need to get wound down here, get home at some point. But as always, I super appreciate you guys making this what it is. I mean, it's growing, it's getting better, and it's all because of you guys. The No Buddies page on Facebook, huge shout out to Rusty Okie and Whiskey Business for doing that for us. I hope the 7:30 time slot is working out well for everybody. We'll talk a little bit more about that next week, now that we're getting a few more weeks of it under our belts. Obviously, we got a lot more cool promo stuff coming up now. That's going to be a lot of fun. And what's coming up this week, we will do Toy Tuesday live, as usual. Yeah, Big Job's going for 24 ads. So we'll do Toy Tuesday night. What's coming up this week? I've got some more new inventory shot. Like I said, I did not get the Kingswood done yet. I'm working on it. I did shoot some more GM trucks. 55 Plymouth Tudor hardtop. That's kind of a cool car. That was a barn find. It's Friday the 13th this week. Hadn't thought about that, Bill. So we've got big GMC truck that Loader Mike brought in. A 55 Plymouth, a big Chevy van, another GMC truck. Those are all shot. We'll get at least one or two of those up. I've got a little bit of Jim Wick stuff left. If we've got any Fairlane fans on here, I've got one more video on several Fairlanes and a Comet that Jim had in stock. We need to get that video up. Still got a lot of stuff in the can from my buddy's yard. We need to get some more of that up one of these days. But this week we'll probably try to get that Jim Wick's Fairlane video up, as well as some of this new inventory stuff. So that being said, guys, we'll see some of you Tuesday night on Toy Tuesday. And we definitely hope to see all of you right back here next Sunday night at 7:30 for some more Sunday night live chat. Thanks, Kenny. And the kind words that you guys always have for me is amazing. How much fun you have on here, the way you enjoy it. And that's, to me, that's just shocking, and it makes me feel good. I try to do a good job for you guys. It's the guy, the way you guys support what we do here makes it really cool. So, and the Johnny Carson comments, the Johnny Carson posts, super cool. So, thanks, Scott. Appreciate you being here. Matt, Big Job, Kevin, Brett and Heather, Austin, Kenny, Michael, Gagola, all you guys. Kenny says hit the like button one more time. I appreciate that. And with that, I think we'll call it a night. If we don't see you this week, have a great week, everybody. And if nothing else, we definitely, perfect, big job. If you find her, bring her on down. And if you missed the Johnny Carson clip with Janet on Facebook, you guys have got to check it out. I got a pretty good kick out of it. If Big Job finds her, we're putting her to work. Trust me. So, anyway, have a great week, everybody. We sure hope to see you right back here next week. Same bat time, same bat station. For some more Sunday Night Live chat, let's put an exclamation point on episode number 228. We'll be ready for number 229 next week, next Sunday night at 7:30. We sure hope to see you all right back here. Thanks for watching, and have a great week, everybody.